And where does that sense of deep concern for the other, where does that come from? Because reconciliation, for those in a conflict or seeking to build deeper relationships, it has to start with a love for the other. But where does that come from? Do you just magic it out of your stomach?
I would say that actually different religions have different concepts, conceptual foundations for society. For us, I would say that it's a very ordinary and familiar concept that that's available to us, but still we are unable to kind of fathom it or understand it. That is the image of God. So the simple fact is that we all have been created in the image of God. That actually shows that we owe something to others. We are dependent on others, and we are not an island. We are not on our own. And I think I would say that the very understanding of the other needs to begin from there. The image of God is a powerful theological concept that we have with us in Christianity that needs to be reflected again and again. And of course, again, it's not that we don't know the concept, but it's also very difficult for us to when we are in, particularly when we hate another person, or when we are in conflict, we suddenly think that, okay, as if one God has created us and the other people belong to like not to the God but to heaven. No, we have that, but the image of God concept that is there in the whole Bible can challenge us and inspire us.
We spend a lot of time, and you look at this in the question of humility and self-criticism, we spend a lot of time talking about other people's sins, particularly in conflict. And I think you will have experienced, as I've done, as many people involved in reconciliation have done, that you sometimes put a question to someone and say, you've told me what you think of them, but what would they think of you? And very often people just can't answer the question at all. And actually it's a major step forward when they might say, well, they'd point to this or they'd point to that. And then you can say, is there some truth in that? And we can sometimes be more concerned about other people's repentance than our own. And how do Jesus' teachings speak to us about this? And I'm particularly thinking in terms of humility as a key to the parable of the Good Samaritan, where Jesus challenges the lawyer's understanding of who the neighbor might be.
Yeah, as you said, as you correctly said, what happens is when we talk about others' mistakes, the list can be actually long.
Yes.
And the moment the question what they think about you, we struggle. So that's a reality in what happens in John 8.
Yes.
When Jesus forgives the woman caught in adultery. Those who came and accusing the woman. And even when we read the parable today, they remain the villains of the story. Obviously, in the story, what happens, they are the villains. But at least when Jesus speaks those powerful words, they go back. They didn't do the harm that they wanted to do. And that's really interesting because when we read the story, we easily blame the villains. But then, in terms of self-criticism, we are worse than them most of the times.
Yes, I know. I agree. And I see these arguments and these attitudes so much in myself and in the church today over all kinds of issues where there's a lot of stone throwing going on by people who are not without sin.
Yes.